What's going on, everybody? It's Zena. Welcome back to Spooky Stuff. We're back in the horror library and we're continuing on celebrating Black History Month and Women in Horror Month. And yes, I'm talking with my hands because that's what I do. So to continue on, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 3 blaxploitation horror movies. For those of you who do not know, I absolutely love blaxploitation horror movies. I love horror movies, and together they're just so wonderful. So the first movie I'm going to talk about is from 1976, and it's JD's Revenge.
There was a real mean killing, and the wrong guy died. They buried his body, but his soul survived. For JD's Revenge.
I feel like JD's Revenge is the perfect blaxploitation horror movie for those of you who are new to blaxploitation horrors and you want to check out a blaxploitation horror, or even if you're someone who wants to introduce someone to a blaxploitation horror, this movie I feel is absolutely perfect because it's so engaging. So basically, this movie is about a law student named Isaac. He also goes by Ike. He's pretty much like the whole package. Like, he's just such a cool guy. He has a great group of friends. He also has an awesome, beautiful girlfriend who's so loving and supportive. From the poster, you wouldn't think that this is a possession horror movie, but obviously from the title, JD's Revenge, somebody wants revenge. So you're probably wondering who JD is. He's this gangster from the 1940s, and pretty much, yes, he wants revenge. For what, you're wondering? He wants revenge because someone murdered his sister and someone murdered him. He saw when it happened, and so it's someone who you would not expect at all. It's someone who he did not expect at all. He's never accepted the fact that he's dead and he's no longer here, so he's pretty much been lurking around for the last like 30 years or so, just waiting for, you know, the perfect person that he'll be able to possess so he can finally get his revenge. And it's not like your traditional possession horror movies, because this one has like a very slow burn to it, and so, you know, it doesn't happen like the possession. It doesn't happen right away, and I actually think that it happens in a very cool way. I like the way that they okay, I was almost possessed. They even have like a creative way of how the possession takes place and everything like that. So one of the reasons why I'm highly recommending this movie, again, you know, besides from it being very engaging, I have to say that Glenn Turman, he plays Isaac. He does an amazing job. And when you think about it, because he, you know, his character is possessed, he's playing 2 separate characters. So here you have Isaac. Isaac is just like this sweet guy. Everybody likes him, like I was saying before. You know, he's smart, he's athletic. He's just like the kind of person that you would want to be around. Then you have JD. JD does not care about anyone but himself. He just has so much rage in his heart. Clearly, he couldn't just rest in peace. He waited 30 years to be able to, you know, possess someone. He's rude to women. His language is so outrageous. There are so many words I've never heard of before. And he uses the word sissified. Even when it comes to the kills in this movie, I feel like it's very creative. Of course, this movie's from the 70s, so the blood looks like red paint, and it most likely is red paint. But I love it, and I'm all here for it. Not only that, but even with Louis Gossett Jr., he plays like a pastor. Pastor Bliss, I believe his name is. And he actually does like a great job as well. I won't tell too much about his character because I don't want to give away any spoilers or anything like that. But just keep in mind, like, he did a heck of a performance. And that's the thing that I can say when it comes to this movie. All of the actors did a great job, and that is something that I really love. Quick story, I wanted to introduce blaxploitation horror movies to, you know, some people that I know. They're not really fans of horror movies, let alone blaxploitation horror movies, but I wanted something that will open their eyes and make them want to see more. So this was actually the first blaxploitation horror movies that, you know, my certain friends were able to check out, and they absolutely loved it. They were laughing at parts that I was laughing at as well, which is great because sometimes I am that person that finds stuff funny that no one else thinks is funny sometimes. So it was just really cool that we were all on the same page. And then on top of that, they loved the movie. They were really engaged. They were really invested. They were invested into the characters, especially with Isaac, because, you know, as a viewer, you want Isaac to win. You want the absolute best for him. Sorry, I had to tag. I wasn't doing the robot on purpose. My tag was just, yeah. So the next movie that I'm going to talk about is Abbie from 1974. So I know that some people call this one the Blaxorcist, and some people even call it like a knockoff version of The Exorcist. I personally understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, I feel like it's a separate movie. So this movie is about a young woman named Abbie, and she is a very wholesome woman. She's married, she's very involved in her church. She is just a beautiful woman who just wants to spread love and joy to the world, okay? Well, her father-in-law, he is off in Africa. He tampers with like this sex demon, and pretty much it wants to get revenge on him. It finds a way to possess Abbie. So I'm leaving out some chunks because I still want you to be able to check out this movie. Even though this is a possession movie, she gets possessed, but then, you know, it comes and go at one point. And, you know, this sex demon that she's possessed by is outrageous. I mean, like the voice sounds like, no lie, that's exactly how it sounds. And I mean, at first I thought it was funny, but then when you start to listen to what it's saying, it's just like crazy. It just makes you feel bad about yourself. Like it wasn't even happening to me, but I felt bad. We feel so bad for her husband because he doesn't know what's going on with her. We, as a viewer, it's just, again, we see some shocking things. One of my favorite scenes in this film is when Abbie is cutting up chicken, and it's like a raw piece of chicken, and her face, she's like sticking her tongue out, she's like making her eyes big, she's doing some crazy stuff with that piece of raw chicken. I personally never trust chicken, so this is no surprise that this even happened. Just the fact that this happened in a blaxploitation horror that's about possession, this does not surprise me. Demons lurk in chicken. Okay, all right, I'm just making that up. Sometimes I just find that I just like to make things up and just see if I can like really commit, you know, like really commit. I'm not an actress. I mean, I wanted to be one a long time ago, but I'm like shy. I'm so shy. But the reason why I really like this movie, Abbie, is because I love what the camera angles do in this movie. It's like the director, he wasn't afraid to like really go wacky or anything like that. Plus, I've read a couple of articles and I heard that there was some weird things that was happening. There was even like bad weather where they filmed. So there was like a lot of craziness that was happening. On top of that, Carol Speed, who plays Abbie, she swears that the whole, you know, set and everything, like the film itself is cursed. It's so unfortunate because I heard that, you know, when this first hit the theaters back in 1974, it was really banking, you know, like the sales were high, but then Warner Brothers, you know, or a company decided to, I think it was probably Warner Brothers, decided to like pull the movie because they felt that, you know, this film was plagiarizing, you know, The Exorcist and stuff like that. But if you watch the movie, I think that you'll definitely see that it's like a different movie. Like, I understand that it's about a possession and, you know, everything like that, but, you know, come on, I feel like it's different. I feel that way. So the last movie we're going to talk about is from 1974 as well, and it's Sugar Hill. So you may have remembered my video that features 7 of the fiercest black women in horror. I actually mentioned one of the characters, Sugar. So this film is about a woman named Diana Sugar Hill. So Sugar's in a relationship with her fiance, and they're so in love, and it's just like so adorable. And this local mob, they want, you know, her fiance to sell his club to them, and he doesn't want to, so they kill him. And it's unfortunate. So obviously Sugar is super hurt. Sugar has the opportunity to go to the police and tell them exactly who did this, but she decides that she wants like hardcore revenge instead. So she seeks out this woman named Mama Matrice, and Mama Matrice knows voodoo. Mama Matrice is connected to Lord of the Dead, and he's the one that's connected to the silver eyeball zombies that I was really excited about, that I was screaming about for some silver eyeballs. And I'm sorry, I had nerds. I don't know. I was just having a day. First off, those zombies, I've never seen silver eyeball zombies before. Their eyes were all silvery and bugged and stuff like that. It was crazy. They had cobwebs on them. I loved it. When it comes to the character Sugar, I really like her a lot. I feel like she kind of reminds me of Coffee, Foxy Brown, Cleopatra, you know, but at the same time, she's still her own standalone character. She's just still such a lady. You know, she wants revenge. She should be angry. You know, she should feel this way, but at the same time, throughout it all, she still looks fabulous. That's amazing. You still were able to, you know, get it together. And then on top of that, Marky Bay, who plays her, she did a great job. She shows her range, you know, because you see her sad, you see her heartbroken, you see her fighting. Even when it comes to Sugar Hill, it is one of my favorite blaxploitation horror movies, but it's also one of my favorite zombie movies as well. And I do feel like this movie is perfect for Women in Horror Month because she's just such a strong individual. She's been through so much, and again, she's one of those characters who you just want to win. You kind of just want her to achieve her goal. So I just love that a lot. So yeah.
Come here. Try this from sugar.
But alright guys, so that is my top 3 blaxploitation horror movies. So I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm interested to know your favorite blaxploitation horror movies. Next week we will be concluding our celebration with Black History Month and Women in Horror Month by talking about one of my favorite movies, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. But just so you know, just because you know it won't be February, it doesn't mean that you cannot celebrate Black history or women in horror. This is something I feel like you should be doing all year round because you are a person of, I'm just kidding. So that is it. So I will see you guys next time. Silver